Namaskar, we welcome you all at the literary platform Sahityapath. You are watching KHAMOSH Bhookh. In the previous episode, we saw that when the Dhol broke, Buddhiya wailed as if mourning the loss of a loved one. When Babuji entered the hut carrying the items from his car, Buddhiya stood near the khatiya with her head bowed, waiting for him. He hung the new dhol in place of the old one and made her sit on the khatiya. Her body was still trembling. Babuji placed a hand on her head, lifted her chin and said, "There is some food in the bag, eat it. There are clothes to change into them. I will take my leave now." In a trembling voice, Buddhiya replied, "All right, Babuji." This time, as Babuji left, Buddhiya walked to the doorstep and watched him for a long time. When his car disappeared from sight, she returned inside and curled up on the khatiya. She looked towards the dhol. It was entirely different now. Tears started rolling down her cheeks again. She wept and murmured, "Those wretches broke my dhol. What harm had it done to them? I had cared for it since my father's time. But this new dhol, it is completely blank, spotless, untouched. Perhaps no one has even struck a single beat on it yet. The metal rings on my father's dhol were symbols of his strength. Each one marked a victory in a wrestling match. In my solitude, they were my only companions. The stains on the old dhol told the stories of my life. Will this new dhol erase all those stories? Will new stories be written on it?" Before leaving, Didi had said that, "Now I must make my own decisions." Has that moment come? She kept thinking, am I being selfish? Am I getting closer to Babuji with each passing moment? Or is he pulling me towards him? But he has never come close to me. He has only ever taken pity on me. It is I who has moved towards him, sought his support, accepted everything he has given me for free. No, I did play the dhol for his songs. But does playing the dhol for a couple of songs deserve such a reward? Fine, that day played, but today I did nothing. And yet, along with money, he brought clothes too. If I discard my old rags and wear these new ones, will the stories of these tattered clothes also fade away? Will everything in this home change like this? And with it, all the stories of Didi, Baba, Dada, Dadi, all of them. But then, what is a woman's life anyway? One day or another, all her stories are erased. The stories of the lap she was raised in fade away. The stories of the branch she once perched on disappear. The stories of the nest where she was born are forgotten. A woman's very existence is about erasing old stories and creating new ones. Didi once said that, but now Didi is gone too. Who should I ask what is right and what is wrong? Is Babuji right and I wrong? Or I am right and Babuji wrong? I am simply hungry, but Babuji, he is like a divine being, as if he never needs food or water. Do people like him live ordinary lives like mine? Do rich people eat the same way we poor do? I have never seen a wealthy person so close before. Am I drawn to him because of his wealth? If so, then I am guilty. The answers to such questions come with maturity and experience. But Buddhiya had neither. She couldn't find answers to all these questions. But one question pierced her heart the most. That day, I at least played the dhol to earn my reward. But today, what did I do today? Whom should I ask for an answer? I can't seem to find one. If Babuji were here, I would have asked him, but he is gone now. Without even saying if he would return, he appears like a deity and then disappears again. If I am deceitful, then Babuji is wise, educated. He should have been cautious. He shouldn't have come back. No, he should have come. If he hadn't come today, my grandfather's family honor would have been shredded to pieces. It's good he came. I have accepted his gifts, so someday I will play the dhol for his entertainment. If I were near him, I would help around his house. I am hungry after all. But is Babuji also hungry in his heart? Am I just a mere fulfillment of that lust? No. Babuji has never even looked at me in that way, never come near me. Every time it was I who approached him. But I have no regrets, because if I ever moved closer, it was towards a deity, a man who has no hunger, no thirst, no desire, no greed, only selflessness. The next morning was serene and beautiful. The night before, Buddhiya had drifted off to sleep while thinking about everything that had happened. Babuji had brought some packed food, but it remained untouched. In the morning, she opened it, ate a little, and kept the rest aside. There were some cookies and sweets. Cultured people consume such things in small amounts. They eat only as much as is necessary. But for daily wage earners, whether it is breakfast or a meal, food is meant to fill the stomach. For them, there is no distinction between breakfast items and full meals. Buddhiya too ate until her hunger was fully satisfied. Now she no longer had to worry about food. As the day progressed, an old woman from the village arrived with Kaka. They knocked on Buddhiya's door. She was inside, so she came out, opened the door and said, "Kaka, Aji, you both?" Aji replied, "Yes, my child. I can no longer walk much, so I don't come often. You live alone. I should visit, but I just can't walk as I used to." Buddhiya brought out a khatiya for them to sit on. Then she went inside, took out some of the things Babuji had brought, placed them in front of them, and filled a glass and a pitcher with water. This time, Kaka had brought Aji along because it seemed inappropriate for a man to visit a young girl alone. Even though Kaka was quite old and had been friend of Buddhiya's father, tradition and propriety had to be maintained. After drinking some water, Kaka turned to Aji and said, "I had arranged a match for Sukhiya before, but she refused. That man still needs a wife. His household is in disorder." Aji replied, "Buddhiya is just a naive little girl. How can we marry her off to a widower? What will people say?" Even Sukhiya didn't agree to that match. Kaka sighed, "What can I do? I search village after village, but it's hard to find someone within our caste. Everyone is just barely making ends meet, and I am getting old now. The younger generation lives in a different world. They don't bother with such things." Aji consoled him, "Keep looking. God will send someone. Have faith. A girl without parents isn't easily accepted as the Lakshmi of someone's house. But Buddhiya's time hasn't run out yet. Someone will come along." Hearing this, Kaka felt slightly reassured and said, "I will try to find a boy closer to her age." If it were Kaka's own daughter, he would search tirelessly. But who spends their money and time for someone else's daughter? Still, since he had been a friend of Buddhiya's father, he was doing his best. Otherwise, these days, no one even bothers to check in on a friend's daughter. let alone find her a groom. Kaka left, but Aji stayed a little longer. She went inside, made small talk, and then Buddhiya accompanied her home. After dropping Aji home, Buddhiya returned and sat on her doorstep. She had never really engaged in social relationships. Sukhiya had always handled those. She knew Kaka, she knew Aji, but beyond that, she didn't know whom to talk to or when to. All she knew was that when someone came, she should touch the feet, offer them something sweet and water, help them if they asked, and put their belongings where they wanted. That was the extent of her knowledge. She thought about the two incidents that had happened in the last 2 days. A wave of self-loathing washed over her. Why was I born a daughter? Why does everyone look at me like an object? If I were a son, I could go wherever I wanted without anyone staring at me. Not everyone treats me like that, though even among all them, there is Babuji. He never once looked at me directly. But such men are rare. Every other place where I played the dhol with Didi, men treated girls like objects. Fine, treat us like objects if you must, but at least learn how to care for those objects. No, they don't want to take care of us. They just want to play with us. And when they are done, they walk away.